nature is amongst us. It's all around us. You don't have to look very far. It's everywhere. Nature is sensational.
Hello and welcome. You're listening to Nature's a Hoot, the wildlife podcast from the Hawk Conservancy Trust with Tom Morath and Hannah Shaw. If you're itching to know more about biodiversity or barn owls, or you're eager to explore the worlds of woodlands and wetlands, basically, if you like wildlife, then you're in good company. And you don't need to be an expert, we've got that covered, as we're joined by some of the greatest voices in conservation to tell us more about what's happening in the wild world around us. Well, hello everybody and welcome along to this very special episode of Nature's a Hoot with me, Tom Morath and Hannah Shaw.
Hello. Well,
Hello.
Here we are again in lockdown, socially
rubbish.
distanced. Yes, it is rubbish, you're right. It's like Groundhog Day. So I'm at home in my little office, which is a total mess. And you're at the Trust, aren't you, Tom?
Yeah, I'm at the Trust in our very professional recording studio. Converted office / storing unit for loads of random stuff. But yeah, we still can't be together. We still have to do this across the airwaves. But it's nice to be bringing everybody a special episode this month.
Yeah, it definitely has. It's really nice to hear what people have been out doing and how they're how nature is helping. I think it's nice to hear that. It's definitely helping me. How are you feeling?
It changes day to day. I mean, sometimes I'm feeling all right and quite positive, and it depends a lot whether I've been watching the news or not. Like, I like to try and be informed, but very often I actively avoid putting the telly on or putting the radio on the way to work because I don't want to hear it anymore. So I feel
exactly the same.
I put another podcast on, or obviously Winter Watch really. It's been on the telly over the last couple of weeks, so it's like that's the only bit of telly I've watched, and I tried to shield myself from the rest of the outside world for January really.
Yeah, I think I've been the same. I've been watching Winter Watch, and that's nice. I really like the mindfulness moment that they do, the sort of minute and a half of just watching and listening to something in nature, which is lovely.
Yeah, and did you see Indy on the programme as well?
Yeah, really.
That was
nice.
exciting. He was like, we had him first. Sort of.
I know.
So if you come on Nature's a Hoot, then you go on to great things. It's just a rule.
Bigger things. Yeah. Now, we thought you might be feeling a bit of a loss without a February episode of Nature's a Hoot. So we've put together this special episode, and Tom is going to tell us what is so special about it.
Well, it's special because it's all about you at home, our wonderful listeners. During January, we set you the challenge through our social media channels to send us a voice note letting us know what your favourite thing about nature is.
Yeah, so the challenge was then for us to put them all together in one uplifting package to see you through until we are back on the 1st of March. So being as we are, even though we thought we might get a little bit of a rest in January, we thought, well, why not take on another job?
Gluttons for punishment.
And give you a nice little episode.
Yeah, and it gives us a chance to have a chat as well and a catch up. But we asked a few of our team to get involved with this too. So you might hear in a few moments a few familiar voices in this little package that I've put together here. Have a listen.
Hi there, I'm Louis Jennings, and I thought I'd just say, loving the podcast so far. And nature to me is beautiful because when you get out and about, you never truly know what you're going to experience while you're out there. You see things on TV and commercials and that depicting nature, but until you experience firsthand, you truly can't understand just how beautiful nature is.
I like nature, and every day I go down to the river and see all the ducks and fish. and I like it so much I made a pond in my garden.
Hi, it's Jane here. What I love about nature is how it inspires me, and how watching simple things like the birds feeding on the bird feeder, going for a walk in the beautiful countryside, or even watching a wildlife documentary, is how it slows everything down, sort of gives me inner peace, and just generally makes me feel better about myself.
What do I love about nature? Well, I think it's the beauty of nature, how you can just get lost with nature. It comes in all different forms. Just listen. Incredible noises. I'm currently stood in my local woods, and I love coming to the woods because it's just so peaceful, so calm, so relaxed. You can hear so many different noises from not just birds, but the cry of a muntjac, or the thumping or the pecking of a woodpecker. So many different noises to just listen to and just feel at one with nature.
The thing I like most about nature is that it's everywhere. In the countryside, in cities and towns. You just have to stop and look. And while looking, you get to see some amazing things. From plants, birds, animals, insects, all sorts of things. So I recommend you just take a couple of minutes each day just to sit outside and look. You never know what you might see.
What do I love about nature? Well, to learn about it is endlessly fascinating. To experience nature is both primal and breathtakingly beautiful. And to be a part of it is both humbling and comforting as well.
My favourite thing about nature is that it's like a superpower, so when you go out into nature you can just feel much better, and it just takes away all the emotions that you might be having, and it's just makes lockdown a whole lot better.
My favourite thing about nature is how insignificant it makes me and my problems feel. When I watch wildlife trying to survive, it really puts everything into perspective.
Trying to come up with my favourite thing about nature, I actually find really tricky, because how do you come up with just one thing? There are so many amazing things about nature and so many wonderful species that we share this planet with. In its simplest form though, I love being in nature because it makes me feel better.
How lovely is that? Hearing everybody's suggestions.
So nice.
There. Yeah, and there's like a common theme there, isn't there? And we were talking about how positive wildlife can be for your well-being, and we keep hammering this same thing home. It's so important for us in this time. We've realised it more than ever, I think. But yeah, getting out in nature makes us feel good.
Yeah, it definitely does. I think it's really important at the moment. It's really nice to hear everybody's feelings about it, and that it is really making life a little bit easier for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. Although, you know what I realised? We kind of got caught up in asking everybody else this question. We kind of didn't ask ourselves the question. So, Hannah, what is your favourite thing about nature? One thing.
It's too difficult.
It is. I don't know how we expected it of everybody else to do it, and would struggle ourselves.
I don't think we realise how tricky it is to be able to say that. What your favourite thing about nature is. I mean, it could be any it could be your favourite species, or it could be how it makes you feel. I think for me, it would be that. It would be how restorative it is and how great it makes me feel. And it doesn't have to be, it can be at any level as well. So it could be just literally looking outside at the bird feeders for a couple of minutes. Just that little snippet can just be uplifting. Or it could even be, like a really long walk in the woods. And then at the end of it, I just feel so much better. I feel just restored and I feel uplifted and much more positive. So I think for me it's that, but it's also sort of how I'm going to go on and on. It's also how how endless it is as well, and how there is just even though we are sort of, this is depressing that we're destroying nature at quite a rate, there is still an endless amount that we don't know, and there's still an endless amount to be discovered, an endless amount to learn, which I always find, like, if I want to at any point, even just going out into my garden, I can just go and find something new, I can learn something new. So I think it's how great it makes me feel, but also how there's always something to learn, there's always something new to find or discover.
Yeah.
How about you, Tom?
Well, I think I'm similar to you in a way. I mean, the idea that there's always something new, and I think that kind of is a constant cycle. So no matter where you are pretty much in the world, everything's changing all the time. There's always something coming. Winter's on its way, or spring's just around the corner, or, we're almost in the clutches of summer. And so you never get a chance to get bored. And again, a bit like you, it's so hard to pick just one thing. We set this to everybody else, and it's impossible for us to adhere to our own rules.
I know.
But also the other thing is, and I think Matt from our bird team kind of touched on this in his little bit there, is that it's just kind of endless, isn't it? It's like most things in life, the more you know, the more you realise you don't know. And I think that's never more true than with learning about wildlife and nature. It just goes deeper and deeper, and it goes on, and there's so much so much to learn about, and kind of be inspired by, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I know a few people are a little bit nervous about recording themselves, and so we allow people to just type into the comments on some of our social media feed as to what was their favourite thing if they didn't want to say it themselves. So there's just a couple here. Somebody sent us this one. I'm always in awe at how different the countryside can look from day to day. This week has gone from blue skies and green grass to Wednesday washout with Storm Christoph. Yeah, that was a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? And then this morning was -3, fog and frost. Looking forward to the spring colours now. And obviously the Hawk Conservancy being able to open again. Yeah, we're all looking forward to that one for sure. And this one was quite nice. My memory is not one off in the past so far behind me that it's out of sight, but one that was made this Monday. Whilst in our local town football field near Andover, there were 3 kites, a pair flying together and then another on its own. And what I found wonderful is that at first they were hovering and flying a little way off and you could just watch them. When I thought they had gone, I heard them, and all 3 of them were flying over me. It was fantastic. And I've heard how they've made great leaps and bounds back to our English countryside, and I see them hovering over the A303 quite regularly. I just wanted to cry because they are really so lovely to watch, and their wings look almost too heavy to get momentum. But they're so agile and can turn quickly, swooping, and then going off into the distance again. Amazing, and a privilege to watch such an exquisite creature over our town. I think that's lovely.
That's lovely.
And and we're getting to see red kites more and more. It is quite humbling, isn't it, to sit back and see a bird that was kind of on the brink of extinction in our British countryside, to then see them so often. And clearly that person felt exactly the same.
Oh, that's really nice.
Now, I saved a couple more of these little recordings that people sent in, just to kind of round off our special episode here. Have a listen to these fantastic young naturalists. We had a couple of amazing young naturalists in the first section. Have a listen to these guys as well.
My name is Edward. I am 6 years old. I love the grey because I love them so much. I did a test and one got really close to my leg. Oh, I like grey squirrels because they are so amazing, but also sometimes they sadly get eaten by a special predator, but I can't remember its name. Oh yeah, the pine marten. I like the way the grey squirrel moved because one of them just wiggled and wiggled up a tree. Goodbye.
Hello, my name is Martha and I am 12 years old and I got a trail camera for Christmas. I enjoy watching the resident badgers in the field next door. So far I've had 2 badgers and another animal that's possibly a fox. I really hope it is.
Hello, my name's Jacob and I'm 6 years old. I love nature. I love birds because they all fly around me, like swooping in the air and flying really fast.
I like the showers on the beach. I like nature because I like going to our beech tree at the beach and it feels like home. And I also like that it's so peaceful and quiet.
I like animals because you can play with them. If you have an animal, maybe you could play with them too.
I have a bug hotel that all bugs can go in any kind if they can fit in the holes and live there for as long as they want to. And that's why I love wild nature and creatures like that.
What have you got in your garden, Flo?
I've got a little stand for birds with food on. And that's what my nanny gave me. A birdhouse and a bug hotel and yeah, all sorts of stuff like that.
My name's Irie. I love nature because I'm 4. And because I love squirrels and because they're fluffy and they tickle people.
My favourite bird is a robin. I hope robins come to my garden so they can lay their little baby chicks in the birdhouse. And then when the baby chicks are ready, they can fly off. And then start their new adventure in the real world and find another home. Thank you.
Aren't they brilliant?
They're amazing. They're so cute.
I wish I had the self-confidence of so many of those young people.
Oh, I loved it. Especially all the love for grey squirrels.
Yeah, grey squirrels are getting a lot of love, just despite their controversial residence here. They're getting a lot of love from the young people.
So nice to hear lots of little inspiring young voices.
Absolutely. That was a really nice thing about this, actually. We weren't expecting to get so many young people involved, and that's brilliant. That is exactly kind of what we want to do as an organisation. The most important thing, or one of the most important things, is to inspire that next generation. So hopefully those people are listening along, or those young people are listening along today, and they can hear themselves on a podcast, perhaps for the first time ever. And if Indie Green's anything to go by 6 months' time, you'll be on Springwatch. Rubber stamped. Guaranteed.
So I'm afraid that's about it for our special episode, but thank you so much for joining us. We were really impressed with all the people that sent their recordings in, and we really, really enjoyed listening to them. We're very excited to be bringing you more episodes from the 1st of March, and we have some really exciting guests who will be talking to over the coming months.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you everybody who sent something into us. If you've enjoyed spending this little pocket of time with us, then there's loads more where that came from. So don't forget to subscribe and make sure that you never miss an episode.
Remember that you can keep up to date with what we're doing on Nature's a Hoot and everything that's going on at the Hawke Conservancy Trust by searching for us on social media. So you can just search at Hawke Conservancy on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and YouTube.
But for now, until March, stay safe, get outside whenever you can, and we'll see you back here on Nature's a Hoot next time. Goodbye.
See you next time.
Thank you. Goodbye.